Starting off is Weightlifers, which has this meditative synth lead that blossoms into an indie dance track with some bouncing drums and guitar licks for good measure. The vocals are good, and it has a sense of temporary crisis in the performance, and I enjoy the lyrics discussing how being Sentry only warrants a want for change, in this case being weightlifting. While I did enjoy the track overall, I will say that the chorus is a bit underwhelming in relation to the verses. It sounds like an odd detour considering how many vocalizations Will uses on the track, but overall I thought it was a good opener. Following the opener is Can't Cool Me Down, which continues the electronic indie pop direction that the band is going for. The chill synth grooves and the small bell embellishments make up a core of the production. I think that the chorus, once again, is a bit lazy compared to the more energetic verses, which is describing this crazy drug experience. I also did like the outro bit, which closes off the song with some interesting sonic bits. Here we have a power pop centric sound with some meshes of rap, rock, and electronic music. What really makes this song for me is the lyrical material. The song serves as a peek and critique into the culture of Hollywood. I love the ad-lib saying, "See my movie, come in my bus, see my movie." Hollywood is this fantasy land where dreams come true, and the quiet, disgusted vocals kind of go over how Hollywood takes advantage of those ambitions and leads to some interesting stories about 12-year-olds waking up in the beds of executives and being threatened to go back to your hometown if you're not doing exactly what they say. I think it's a very sharply written track with a very agitated atmosphere that the band is able to convey. Making up the sound of this is a very wistful instrumental with a lot of guitar tones thrown into the mix. It is surprisingly able to hold its own for the 7-minute runtime with a lot of these somber undertones. I love the melody of the track as well as the sentiment and the message the lyrics are able to convey. There is a sense of wanting to be closer than possible, or what ended up happening, like the expectation is that life is more meaningful than what it actually is. The main character of the song is describing some of the experiences he has gone through while he has been alone. The chorus is heartfelt, and I love the bridge that describes the emotional pain that the character is going through based off his decisions and the people around him. It is a fantastic track. Coming off of that emotionally compelling track is Him, which is both in comparison and by itself very basic and flat. I like the hazy instrumental, and Will's vocals are interesting. Hearing him elongate some of these notes is cool, but the songwriting is so uneventful and it really doesn't add anything. It doesn't sound like it's building off of the foundation of the other tracks. It's just kind of there. Deadline uses a minimal electronic backdrop to a song I think about commitment, and as the track goes on, there are some more instrumental layers brought upon, like guitars and live drums. I love the progression of the track correlating with the theme of the track a lot. At first it sounds like it's very lazy and uninspired, like Will is making excuses, but in the last leg of the track there's a vivid dedication that Will is able to bring out with a passionate chorus as the song comes to a close. It's awesome. This is actually a very sweet song. At first, I thought it was about the central subject of the song being Justin disappearing or being dead, and Will through his lyrics is trying to deny the fact that he is gone by saying that over and over again that he will find him.
I will find him. I will find him. I will find him, Laura. I will find him!
But I realized this song is like an homage to that one person that you loved being around and that you never got to see again. Like a lost long friend or just somebody you really related to. The cutesy acoustic rock instrumental along with some sax passages in the last bridge to the outro is pretty nice, and I love Will's incredible warm vocal delivery. It gives the song a feeling of love and respect that is too contagious to ignore. The lead vocalist on this track is actually not Will Toledo. It is band member Ethan Ives, and it provides an interesting change of pace to the album. I don't think I've ever heard a Car Seat Headrest song without Will as the lead vocalist. On the song, the lyrics describe this change that someone is going through, presumably for the worse, as it kind of seems like they're not the same person they used to be. And that's about it. It's a 1.5-minute track about an interesting idea, but there's nowhere near enough of anything for it to really matter. There's not a lot of songwriting, instrumental's pretty bare. It's just, it kind of sounds like a one-off in the track listing. The instrumental here sounds like a light electronic strobing indie rock sound with a sad tinge to it. And what is here is pretty heavy. It sounds like the rationalization of suicide, the glorious release it brings from life, the expectation that these angels are going to visit you, the hopes that there is a new life to live once you get through a hole to take you there, and the regret that this life wasn't lived to the fullest and inevitably hurting the ones closest around you. Will's vocal delivery only adds to the tragic and depressing sound of the track, and it makes it quite an emotional powerhouse of a song, especially right before the closer. With such a powerful penultimate track, Famous is left a daunting task to follow it up with a fitting closer, and it doesn't. Not at all. Though it is really good. I like the sporadic vocal samples that are used in the disco-y instrumental. It sounds very glitchy. The songwriting here is simplistic, and I think it is trying to tie every aspect of the previous material on the album together, all the hardships, all the struggles, with the mantra, please let it matter. But in my opinion, I think the flow of it coming off of the previous track, it really shouldn't have been the closer. These two really should be switched, but it was still a pretty good track. Car Seat Headrest went in a sonically different direction here for the most part, taking up the musical mantles of INDIETRONICA and disco, instead of prioritizing their signature raw indie rock sound. Wasn't exactly the smoothest transition here, I will admit, but the songwriting and the vocal performances more than make up for a bit of the instrumental shortcomings. Will's vocals are as apathetic and passionate as ever, and there are some sharply written songs here. The biggest issue I had with the album was its flow. The track listing is like up and down in terms of its tonality in relation with the other tracks, but I think the area that it hurts it the most were the last two songs. Like I said previously, they really should have been switched. It's a very jagged experience to listen to as an album. It doesn't take away from the song quality at all, but like, yeah, the flow is a bit sketchy. But overall, I still really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what the band comes up with next. I give it a